So last time we used two commands, cal and echo. You might be wondering, how do we get information about these commands? Well, there are actually several ways that you can go about doing it. The first way I'm going to talk about is using an inbuilt manual. It comes with all Linux distributions. It's called man. Anything can have a manual page, but although it doesn't necessarily mean that there will be one. And this is how you can do it. So I am typing man is the command. And then afterwards, you're going to give as the argument the command that you would like to learn about. So for instance, we can learn more about calendar by doing man cal and then hitting enter. And now this is going to pop up. This is a kind of a different interface, so this might be jarring at first. You're going to navigate differently in here compared to on the command line. Although I direct your attention down here to this part, it will say that you can press H for help, or you can quit out of this by pressing Q, and that's actually a pretty common thing. So if you're in an interface like this and you're stuck, you can usually hit Q and that will get you back out. So just keep that in mind if you're lost. When you're in here, so your keys are going to do different things. So for instance, your arrow keys will let you go up and down, and you can also use enter to scroll as well. Now, what's typically the case for these manuals is they're going to give you a brief synopsis of some of the optional stuff you can add to this. Like this is a usage example. It might be stuff that's supposed to come before other things or the end arguments. In this case, it looks like everything is optional. You'll know that's the case because typically these square brackets indicate optional things. You know, you don't really need them to do stuff. So you could just give cal on its own, and it's going to just display the calendar, which we kind of already inferred before. It looks like cal also has an alternative format called ncal that offers an alternative layout and the date of Easter. Well, okay, so now you know there's actually another way of using cal. Now, down here are some of the options that you can use to modify cal. And we actually are already familiar with this one, the -H, because this is what we used to turn off highlighting in last time. But of course, there are a bunch of other options you can explore. I'm not going to do it in this video, but if you're curious, you can just look down here. Now, when you're all set, like I said before, you can just hit Q, and it should bring you back out. So here we are. Now there's another way to look for help. If you're a little impatient, maybe you want just a brief description of what something does. Well, we can do that using this, what is. So what is just going to give you a one-line description or so of what a command will do. So I could do what is man. I guess there are two different things that are man, but the one we're looking for is down here. It's an interface to the online reference manuals. And I can do it again too with man. Oops, don't want manual. I can do what is echo, and it says display a line of text. So there you go. It's a very simple tool. I bet you can do what is. Yeah, you can. Although that doesn't make much sense because if you know what is, and why you type in what is. But there you go. It displays a one-line manual page. Description. So, whoop-de-doo. Another thing I want to point out, and I think I might have mentioned this last time, is -H will usually give you a usage example. It will give you a brief description of the commands in there, kind of like the manual page, but it just spits it out to your screen instead of having to go into that interface. Although there's no real agreed upon format for this, so it might be different for each command. It might be -H for some, -H for others, or -help, -help. I mean, it gets kind of confusing. You might just want to learn some of these and try them out. So I can, for instance, do man -help, like I was saying before, and this will give me back a description of what man will do. I think actually -H will work too. Yeah, it does. So actually, either of these is going to give you back the help information for this. So it's just a brief description of how to use it. Here's the usage. So man options, like those dashes I've used, and then the page. In this case, it's just going to be that's just the name of the command that you like to bring up. I think there are pages for things that aren't just commands. Actually, I do know this. So if you do man ASCII, like this, you can get back ASCII characters. So you can get back the table of what codes for what ASCII character. It's kind of nifty. So if you want to look through it, you can do what I just did here. And again, when you're all set, just hit Q. There we go. Another useful command, it might be useful for a presentation, is you can use the clear command on its own. And this is just going to clear the screen. So I might use this regularly. Alternatively, you can use Control L, and that will also clear the screen. But anyway, if I type in clear and hit enter, it clears it. So now you got this nice clean screen. Although actually, a little secret here, it didn't delete anything. If you scroll up a little bit, oh, it's all here. So yeah, all it does is it just creates a bunch of white space to give you the impression that it cleared the screen for you. But for all intents and purposes, that's what we wanted to do anyway. Okay, so one last thing. Let's say you're impatient like me and lazy like me. Well, another way of getting a quick bit of help is to go online. Just Google this stuff. So for instance, you can look for usage examples of Echo or Cal. Or it can be like, well, why the heck would you want to use Echo anyway? So just Google these things, and what will typically pop up is a site called Stack Exchange or something similar to that. And this will give you great examples of how to use these commands. So I really suggest that you use that as a learning resource frequently. I've used it for a lot of these things, so it's not like I just came about knowing all this stuff. I had to do a lot of research, and I suggest you do it too. So that's really all I have to say for now, and I hope this helped you learn how to get help.